Good evening everyone and welcome to TTML. We are here for Division 2 action. It is the penultimate round of the championship as we take in the Circuit of the Americas from Austin in Texas. My name is James Hay, going to be taking you through the stream as your lead commentator here tonight, and joining me in the commentary box, fresh from his exertion into Division 3 last week, it is Mr. Ivor Bryn. Mike, how are you doing?
I am looking forward to this one. Could be a championship deciding round, and we all know championship deciders at USC are usually a cracker, so let's hope for another one.
It is going to be fascinating, I think, the action out on track. Before we get into the driver's standings, the first thing I want to bring up, of course, is some tasty merchandise. You can go to stick'emup.store/TTG Esports. That is where you can find all merchandise associated with TTG and indeed with TTML as well. We had a success, of course, from the Esports Mini League. Get yourself over there and order yourself some stuff before Christmas time, which will be fantastic. Let's have a look then, though, at the all-important championship standings. And, of course, it was Redema who took the win last time out. Delivered a very good performance in Russia. M Short, however, though, still leads the championship on 207 points. And yes, you know what I'm thinking. The championship can be won here tonight. He can finish and afford to lose 5 points to Scuba, or 6 points to Scuba, and Wesker 24 points. That is where he can afford to lose the points. M Short leading on 207, Scuba in second on 168, with Wesker in third on 149. And Mike, M Short has got a real opportunity here to have a fantastic drive, potentially in a championship winning car.
Yep, absolutely. He's built up such an advantage over the course of the season that he can afford to, as you said, lose about 24 points to Wesker at this race, 6 to Scuba at this race. It is all in M Short's hands.
He has got one hand on the title, on the proverbial title, I think, out on track. But you know what they say in F1, it is not over and done with until the final lap of the race. To run through the rest of the standings as well before we get into qualifying, Gary in 4th on 110 points, with Matt Tibos in 5th on 107, AJ in 6th on 105, with Sway in 7th on 99 points, Adam Acko, J. Colin, Callboy all glued together in tied 8th position on 90 points. Very close. And we've also got a tie for 11th between Parody and Matter on 79 points as we look further down the grid. LR Patrick in 13th, with Zwiedema also tied for 13th on 55 points. Dan Morris only a point behind on 54. Alonso in 16th on 48 points, with Kieran McGinley in 17th on 42. Chubbs is in 18th on 40, Mac Maverick in 19th on 25, and Dylan in 20th on 15 points. And if you thought the driver's standings in the mid-pack was quite close, the constructors, I can tell you now, is even closer. McLaren on 277 points, leading the way, from Alfa Romeo in second on 266, Racing Point in third on 254. By my calculations, that is a 23-point gap between first and third in the constructors. Ferrari in 4th on 200, Red Bull in 5th on 189, Renault in 6th on 186, with Williams in 7th on 143, Haas in 8th on 126, AlphaTauri in 9th on 80, and Mercedes in 10th on 36. And looking at the consistency, actually, of the guys out on track, McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Racing Point, the top 3 constructors separated by 23 points out on track. I don't think I've known a constructors battle to go down to the wire with the penultimate round of the season coming up this close.
Yeah, this is going to be a very close race in the constructors. I think M Short is starting to feel the benefits of having Alonso in that second Alfa Romeo seat. I know Alonso came in a little bit late into the season, and yeah, it's just making things extra tight now in the constructors. And McLaren's, they've been driving superbly, as the Racing Points. It could go either way.
Yeah, rewind all the way back, by the way, to round 2 of the season. We went to Vietnam, M Short made his debut and dominated. And from then on, he has not looked back. Remember, he joined 2 races into the season, didn't appear in Australia, so that makes his championship march even the more remarkable. And you say it with Alonso as well, he was relatively late joining into the season, I think 3 or 4 races in, but Alfa Romeo are in such a promising position. I think they might actually try and steal the most points out on track here tonight, but it's something, of course, that we will have to wait and see. And of course, if you thought tonight was going to be interesting, we've got Division 3 live for you as well, with Aidan Carter and Conti taking you through that one. Division 4 and 5 also go down to the wire tomorrow night in America for the penultimate round of the season. Division 5, however, that will last on for an extra week, because the Italian Grand Prix will prove to be the final round of the season, because basically, think of it this way, somebody invited a driver that wasn't in the league and we have to rerun the race because of that. Terrible, I know, and that is, I think, credit to all the admin team for Division 5 for putting that into place as well. Let's have a look though at the track in question. We will go through this in more detail, of course, in our formal introduction. Circuit of the Americas, we're in the USA, of course, and it has been on the calendar since 2012. 28 laps await the drivers, of course, with an 18-minute qualifying session. A lap distance of 5.5 kilometres in length. It's one of these tracks, Mike, where it's a Herman Tilke designed track. It will really test the driver's limits.
Yes, absolutely. I remember tyre wear being an issue at this track as well, especially with the heating in the tyres. These guys are going to have to manage the tyre heating and tyre wear. And a lot of these corners can be very tricky to go side by side, but I'm hoping we do get some side by side action through Sector 1 especially.
It would be fantastic if we got side-by-side action. We nearly had that in Division 1, actually. I think it was Recon trying to go down the inside of Calsper, if I'm not mistaken. The 2 Ferraris were going side-by-side coming through Turn 6. Recon got the overlap coming on the inside, nearly went into the back because the car in front was coming across, and he had to back out of the move. I can't remember who it was exactly, but it was definitely Recon going up the inside, or trying to go up the inside of somebody. We have got 15 seconds left to go then until the session now starts. 15 drivers going to be doing battle out on track here, and we'll go into qualifying very shortly indeed. But Mike, final thoughts, your expectations?
I'm sure it's going to seal the Drivers' Championship, I think, at this round. I think Scuba will give him a good run, but I think M Short will he'll do enough to clinch it here.
That's a very bold prediction, and we haven't even got into qualifying yet, so we'll see if Mike, of course, is right as we go along. The main championship protagonists are here, so without further ado, let's get straight into qualifying. Well, good evening everyone, and welcome to TTML Division 2. We are here for the penultimate round of the championship here in Austin, Texas, as we take in the United States Grand Prix. 20 turns do await these drivers out on track around a fearsome circuit. Of course, it is myself and Ivor Mike Edwards, of course, in the commentary box here tonight, going to be taking you through all of the action as it unfolds. 5.5 kilometres in length takes this track around 28 laps with 2 DRS zones, one down the back straight, one down the start finish straight as well. An elevation change of around 80 metres around here. Think of that as up into turn 1 being the highest point of the track. Going to be fascinating, I think, to see how these guys get on, of course, out on track. But we are just about, I think, to get into qualifying, and 15 drivers, beautiful blue skies here, Mike, as well. This is going to be quite an interesting qualifying session, I think.
Yes, and it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be going for what strategy. I'm looking at the tyre compounds right now. Some are going for the softs, some on the mediums already, but no one's left the pit. In fact, we do have a Mercedes coming out of the pit lane right now, followed by the McLaren, who I think has just jumped ahead of him. So
there's a bit of a glitch going on down into the pit lane. They're all slowing up just purely to try and get it's Alonso that's first out on track. I think that's why the AI of Scuba, I think, in second had to back off, and that's why you saw Harry, a little bit of a Constantino effect going on already in the pit lane. But Alonso first out on track, Scuba second, and Scuba seemingly, interestingly, the only one currently out on track that's on a set of medium compound tyres.
Harry is as well.
Harry is as well. That's quite interesting though in its own right, because I think we only saw one driver in Division 1 certainly have medium compound tyres on their car, and they finished towards the bottom end of the field. So that seems to me, if more drivers go out on a set of mediums, they're going to wait for the track to evolve.
Yep, and I apologise, it wasn't Harry out on a set of mediums. It said on my screen that Harry was on mediums. He's actually on softs.
I think that's one of the glitches, I think, within the spectator mode here that we've got. We're seeing different things. I'm definitely seeing Harry on the left-hand side of my screen as a set of soft compound of tyres. I think Matter actually is the only one, other than Scuba, on a set of medium compound of tyres. And Scuba, the main championship protagonist, is first out on track. So let me take you through then a lap of this 5.5 kilometre length in circuit. Scuba now runs up the hill in towards turn 20, the final turn out on track, and now he opens up the DRS range. Will reach in excess of 200 miles an hour as he approaches towards turn 1, and look at that elevation change as we go up now the hill, and the Irishman reaches the braking zone, beautifully turned in, and expect Scuba to set around a 132 possibly, I think, on a lap time here, maybe a 133 on a set of mediums, but now flies through the American version of Maggots and Beckett's 3, 4, 5 and 6. They come up very quick, now through in towards turn 7, and then up the hill towards turn 8 and 9, and this elevation change really has to test the drivers out on track. It was a 24.7 from Scuba through the first sector, and he ran and got too greedy on the curve on the outside, and unfortunately has invalidated his lap, but will continue on board anyways. I think Harry is on the lap just in behind him out on track, and I'm sure Mike will follow his progress as we go along. But Scuba now running down the straight. Let's see what he's going to do as he comes towards the middle sector split. Remember that you see the red on the track map, that indicates that the driver has invalidated their lap time, so it doesn't count. Just think of it that way. Scuba, 101.3 through the middle sector. He's actually on the pace, to be honest, on this set of mediums, even on an outlap. He's got very low fuel, actually, in his car, which suggests to me he could make a dive into the pit lane to come back in and then set another lap later on in the session. But Scuba now through Max Verstappen corner, through 16, 17 and 18, now in towards turn 19. We see this now back on board as we rise up the hill in towards turn 20. He will complete the lap. I think it's going to be 131 to begin off with for Scuba. Across the line would have been a 131.3. Let's see how Harry is getting on. Harry has invalidated also on a lap. He would have set a 134.1, and I think Alonso...
AJ's the next across the line. Yep, Alonso invalidated in turn 19, unfortunately, but Alonso across the line with a 29.9.
Yeah, Matt Tibos goes second as well. Jacob goes third. So, quite a close qualifying as we ride on board with Gary coming around the final corner. M. Short is through the middle sector, so we'll come on board with him in just a second. Everyone going slow as Redema now, however, goes just 1,000th behind Matt Tibos. Even in this early stage of qualifying, Matt across the line there for 32.4. Here is M. Short, though, the championship leader, coming through turn 19 and in towards turn 20. Is he already going to be going quicker than Wesker? I think he will. Cross the line, 29.7. You bet he will, and he's a dead 10th and a half of a second ahead of Wesker. Early advantage to M. Short.
Yep, and that is probably not what Scuba wants to see pop up on his screen. M. Short with the fastest lap.
Definitely not, and I think Wesker has got to try and bring it to him, and Scuba certainly has got to try and bring it to M. Short here tonight. If you watched on board with Esports Masters League last night, M. Short won in Vietnam, a race that he won here in Division 2 by 12 seconds. So if that's the form that he's in here tonight, expect him to do the same, I think.
Yep, as we got Harry, who ducks into the pits. Did look like he was still on a lap, but he thought better of it to come into the pits.
Yep, Dan Morris is... Go on.
I was going to say Dan Morris, I think, is the only one on a lap, but he's invalidated.
He has invalidated, which is a shame, and the Irishman be hoping for... he's going to come into the pit lane, but he'd be hoping to try and get a lap in. Alonso, by the way, I think he invalidated, as you say, through turn 19 on his first lap. He's back out on an out lap. That's the first run for the guys out on track. But where do you see Alonso actually being put in amongst the likes of M. Short and Wesker? Do you think he's going to be in and around that sort of area?
Well, this is going to be crucial for Wesker and Scuba, because if Alonso is there to back up M Short, not only is that good points to Alfa Romeo in the constructors, it could potentially take them both out of this championship fight.
It could take them both out of the championship fight, you're right, and M Short and Wesker have just got to be careful. They don't want to make any sort of contact through the race. It's going to be really intriguing, I think, out on track. Seeing everyone in the comment section, good evening to everyone that is tuning in for TTML Division 2. Merple has commented, go OWR isotopic. Maybe he will do soft mediums today. I think you've got the wrong tier. That's Division 3, I think, rather than Division 2. He's not on our list, certainly. Alonso in the final corner to start us off on a lap. And I'll let you talk through this one.
Okay, so up into turn 1, guess it. Breakdown, big lock up there into turn 1, but guess the car rotated. Lovely bit of wheel spin on the exit of turn 1, though, as he comes through 2. Just avoiding the traffic or Scuba as he goes through.
Oh, he's
3,
invalid.
4 and 5, but he has invalidated once again, and this is going to be the issue on this track. If you get too many invalidations early on, you're going to be putting yourself under some serious pressure at the end.
Yeah, track limits are really harsh, I think, on this game, let alone around on this track here. Matibos getting out of the way, doesn't realise that Alonso has invalidated, so it's a shame, but be hoping to try and set a better lap, and actually that looks like Matibos just in behind. Mata, however, has just started off on a lap, and he's another one. Actually, he looks like he's getting a bit of race strategy, to be honest. 31.8, 3-lap old mediums. He's getting a race setup rather than a qualifying setup, I think.
He literally just came to the end of his lap. He improved by half a second, 5/10 improvement, and now he's on his cooldown lap, I think.
Yeah, he should make it back into the pit lane, obviously, nearly halfway through qualifying, so it'll be very interesting to see how he gets on. Let's go on board with the Greek man, though, of Harry. I was watching the F1 season reviews back in the day, and there's been no Greek driver, I think, in Formula 1, certainly in my lifetime. I'm not sure in yours, Mike, but Harry here in the virtual world at least, he's driving for Mercedes, hasn't been that consistent so far this season. Through the first sector he's at a 24.6. Need to be a bit quicker than that, but I think he might have his best result of the season here tonight, especially with a bit of a limited attendance.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, this track can be so challenging, and of course we still don't know what the weather conditions are going to be. As I'm currently on board with Scuba, who's just gone purple in sector 1. Hopefully he can keep it on the track this time and not invalidate at the top of the hill. Yes, he does keep it on track, learning from his previous mistake as he comes into 11, gets the car rotated. Lovely. DRS wide open now on the McLaren as he flies down towards turn 12. Going to be a very crucial overtaking spot, I believe this will be, as he breaks down into 12. The car rotated lovely, and purple in sector 2 as well, so this is looking like it's going to be a very good lap from Scuba.
Yeah, just right on board with Harry. He's coming out the final corner as well. You're right on board. I think he's going to set in around a 31 flat. Yeah, 31.1. Goes 9th as a result. He improved in the final sector. We'll jump on board with Scuba, who you've been commentating on that lap, and now flies through the final couple of corners, now through turn 20. And let's see what he can do. I think he's going to be in and around M Short. He's going to go quicker. Cross the line, 29.5. Scuba lays the smack down on M Short's car, quite literally, and he goes quickest. M Short has just started a lap, actually out on track, and he's 24.1 500ths up through the first sector. So it's going to be fascinating, I think, to see how he's getting on. Just flicking through everyone else, AJ has invalidated, Adam Acko hasn't invalidated, but he's getting out the way for, I think he's waiting possibly for his teammate to come out of the pit. He's out of turn 1, and forgive me,
he's invalidated.
Dan Morris is invalidated. He's into the pit lane and nearly clouts the wall, actually, coming into the pits. Callboy, another one to have invalidated. Just trying to run on board with anybody. Dylan, 1.1 seconds up through the middle sector. Let's see how he's going to attack turn 19 and 20. The Red Bull man, of course, here tonight. The Dutchman coming around the final corner. He's going to go 29, I think, across the line. Goes 9th, 30.4, so you can tell I was way off in terms of my prediction there. He goes 9th, And about 0.3 of a second off J. Cole, and Gary improves ahead of his teammate. But I think J. Cole is also on a lap. He's 400 up through the first sector.
On board with M Short as he comes to the final corner. It says he was up by 2 tenths, and he...
Oh!
It is going back and forth between these two.
And Wesker's on a lap as well. He's coming through 10.15. Not sure about the improvement through the middle sector, but M Short now 2 tenths ahead of Scuba, pretty much out on track. Wesker has now got to put really this on the line, even at this stage in qualifying with 6 minutes to go. Wesker now coming up towards the final 2 corners, out on track. Round the final corner, I think he might go third and improve. He doesn't in the end. 500 up for Wesker. So no improvement shown there. J. Cole across the line, he improved further with a 30 flat. And we've got the Williams coming in of Adamako into the pit lane. I don't think anyone else is out on a lap.
I believe we got both the Renaults and AJ out on out laps. Mata will be the first one to start his flying lap, so we'll stick on board with Mata just to see how he is going to get on, but the gauntlet has been laid down there from M Short. There's a Scuba. There's a Scuba takes the upper hand. M Short takes it back immediately.
Top 3 in the standings as well. Top 3 in qualifying so far. M Short, Scuba, Wesker. So they're pretty much split. But again, AJ was so consistent last week in Russia in his qualifying. He's right up there again. He actually defeated M Short for pole position last time out. I think he can find maybe some improvement on this lap. But we're right on board with Mata coming through turn 1. He's now on a set of soft compound of tyres, so I expect quite a lot of improvement as long as he keeps this lap validated out on track through 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Very close to running wide there as he now comes through the first sector. 24.5 through the first sector. Not lightning quick compared to what we've seen. Mata now coming up the hill through turns 8 and 9, then through the kink at 10. Now down the hill once again. You can see the elevation change around here at Circuit of the Americas. Now he reaches halfway through the lap pretty much. Now down the straight, this long 1 kilometre straight, nearly as long as the Indian back straight. Remember that back in the day in India? The last race, of course, held I think in 2013 or 14. So Mata now down in towards the middle sector split, now coming through turn 12 and up towards 13. 101.1, he's in and around sort of Zuidema, Dillon sort of area, I'm thinking, with this lap, as Mata now comes round into turn 15. Looking really good. We've got Matt Tibos also on a lap as well as AJ, so we'll go on board with them simultaneously as Mata now runs through turn 18, now in towards 19 as 20. Callboy has retired from the session. There's an Alfa Romeo leaving the pit lane as well, and Mata actually 3.5 minutes to go. I think wisest decision to do. He was improving, but not improving by a lot, and he's into the pit lane and backs off that lap. Matt Tibos is invalidated, so that is him
and AJ,
done.
I think's backing up.
And AJ,
off.
Yeah, AJ has backed off, so I'm guessing. But AJ, 3 minutes to go. He's going to be less than 3 minutes to come out to the pit lane. It's going to be, what, a 45-second turnaround, 50-second turnaround, something like that. Is AJ going to stay out here and possibly go for 2 laps? That might be the wisest choice, to be honest.
Oh, we'll soon find out now as he does duck into the pits.
Totally profound what I've just said there. So if anybody was trying to rely on me, my commentary style, yeah, this is why we're in the commentary box and not that they're out on track, trust me. But Alonso still hasn't set a lap time yet, neither has Dan Morris. Quite shocked actually by Alonso. He just seems to be picking up the invalidations at the wrong time.
Yeah, and we were talking about Alonso could play a part in being able to get underneath the skin of Scuba and Wesker by being a bit of a spanner in the works, but at the moment it looks like the Racing Points are going to be in the best position to maybe chuck a few spanners in the works at the moment.
Yeah, let's hope we don't get a scenario like we did in Division 1 where Kalsper dived down the inside of Recon, broke half of his front wing off by tapping into the back of him trying to go for the move. Let's hope we don't get that between the 2 Racing Points. Alonso at the final corner. Very sloppy, I've got to be honest, out of the final corner. Not the greatest run onto his lap, but we'll see. We now come down in towards turn 1. And that was beautiful through turn 1 actually from Alonso. Now down in towards turn 2. And I emulate, of course, Fernando Alonso, who has won around here before, I do believe, in America. As now he comes through turn 9, 24.1, in and around that sort of area he wants to be setting. Not looking like a bad lap so far.
I just seem to be catching a little bit of a snap of almost the through sector 1, so that might be something to keep an eye on.
Ran wide of the apex coming through turn 11 as well. You do not want to be doing that. He might have a little bit of toe actually running down the straight. I think that might be... I don't know who that is out in front. I can't really see that further forward. We'll try and pick up that in just a second. And it is Mata just ahead of him. It looked like a Red Bull to me, but it's not. Alonso now through the middle sector. 1 minute point 5 through the middle sector. That's the fastest middle sector we've seen, certainly that I've been on board with so far. As Wesker now comes around turn 15, gets smartly out of the way, and Alonso really on a good lap here. Now through 16, 17 and 18, taking on this lap. As dare as he might, is he going to go towards the top end of the field? No, he invalidates, and that is him straight into the pit lane, and he's going to be going no further in this session. Who else is on a lap as we come through the final corner? Dylan is on a lap as invalidated. Zuidema is on a lap. Gary is a 10th up coming through the final sector, and J. Cole actually just ahead. I think J. Cole is similarly improving. He could go ahead of Adamako if he's good enough. Now J. Cole out of the final couple of corners, literally milliseconds left here in qualifying. We count down under 5 seconds. J. Cole now around the final corner. Going to be up here actually in qualifying. He goes third. It's good improvement there by J. Cole. What can Gary do across the line? He goes 5th. He's only a 10th off his teammate. AJ is through the first sector. Wesker is 1300th down. Trying to run on board with anybody who's near the lines. Zuidema has backed off, so he's not going to be setting a lap time either. Dylan invalidated, doesn't get another lap in. Who is next to come across the line? M Short. Now around the final corner. Is he going to improve ahead of a 29.3? It's impossible, I think, if he can improve again. Across the line. Oh, he does! He doesn't, actually. It's 1,000th off his previous lap time. Scuba is 2/10 down through the first sector. We've got Wesker 700 down in the middle sector. These are the two to watch then, as AJ is actually coming out just in behind out on track. We'll try and pick up on board with his final sector split. 10th of a second down. Wesker through turn 18 is the next one to come across the line. We've got Harry on a lap just ahead of him out on track as well. He's into the pit lane, I think. And now Wesker trying to lay it on the line. He's got to try and find the time somewhere. He goes third. He improves ahead of J. Cole. AJ's 2/10 down. Scuba goes... Oh, Scuba is round the final couple of corners. Matt Tibos goes third. I'm trying to keep up. AJ round the final corner. Doesn't improve in the end, and Scuba out the final corner. Last one to set a lap time. He goes second, and I think he didn't improve either. And M Short, with one hand on the title, takes pole position. Here's the full rundown then of the grid, and actually top 11 separated by less than a second. M Short takes it from Scuba in second. Matt Tibos, good qualifying from him, jumps ahead of Wesker. Wesker has got it all to do out to the championship protagonists. J. Cole in 5th with Gary in 6th. The Ferraris lock out the 3rd row of the grid with AJ in 7th, Adamako in 8th, Dan Morris in 9th with Zuidema in 10th, Mata in 11th. And as I stress, less than a second separating the top 11. Dylan in 12th with Harry in 13th, Alonso and Cowboy, the two not to get a time in, but seemingly advantage M Short.
Yep, advantage M Short. He put it on pole. Can do no wrong in that qualifying session there. I have no idea where he found that time. But how crucial is it though that there's now a few cars between the racing points, as now that's more cars for AJ to try and get through to back up Wesker.
We're going to see a bit of team tactics, I think. No doubt about that, as we come now into or towards the formation lap. Let's have a look once again, though, at the track in question. 5.5 kilometres in length await these guys out on track. 20 turns with 28 laps in total. Looks a little bit murky, but I can promise you there is blue skies and sunshine promised, I think, for this race. Just having a look in the comments section there as well. Mays wants Isotopic to win. Let's see how he gets on. But expectations coming into the race. Who are you going for your top 3? I'm going to have to ask her at the beginning of formation lap.
M Short. Actually, Joe, I won't go M Short for the win. I'll actually go Scuba for the win.
Okay.
M Short second, and I'm actually going to predict he gets fastest lap as well.
Okay. So he will win he won't win the title then, if that's the case.
Ooh,
I don't know.
Actually.
With the fastest lap point, M Short has already got 2 extra points. So that now, I think, brings what the gap he needs to be. He can afford to finish second, even without the fastest lap of the race, and still win the championship. I'm under that impression. I'm just doing quick math as I go through here in in the formation lap now. I think M Short has got now 3 points. 2 points less of an advantage over Scuba, so that gap was 5 points. It's now 3 points he can afford to lose on Scuba. And that, in theory, if M Short was to finish second, actually, I've just totally overdone myself there. Scuba would still be in championship contention if he picked up the win, but didn't pick up the fastest lap. But if M Short did pick up the fastest lap, then I think he would be champion. Very thin margins. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Tom. And it's probably working out. I've probably just made everyone tune out of this stream right now by saying that. They're probably thinking, what on earth have you just done in terms of the maths? But let's have a look at everyone's tyres then in question. And actually the bottom 5 are going seemingly the same. Medium compound of tyres. We'll see the pit stop strategy come up very shortly for M Short. But the tyre wear around here goes off, what, 4-5% a lap at least?
Around that, but I always found the tyre heating as being the major issue around this track.
Yeah, you
the
got
fact
me.
that they overheat.
I thought you were going to speak again there. I was taking a drink and I nearly spat it out all over myself. That would have been quite great. But we are into the formation. We're now into the end of the formation lap as J. Cole and Gary have been disqualified and have been put firmly in their place back on the grid. The 2 Ferraris, of course, filling out the 3rd row of the grid. And if you want to play James Head Bingo, here is my top 3. My top 3 is M Short for the victory and to win the championship. Wesker second, who I think is better in terms of race pace than qualifying pace. And in 3rd, I'm going to go for Scuba. I'm going to be quite stale, is the word I'm going to find with my prediction here tonight. But without further ado, let us get underway. The 5 red lights are now coming on here in America for the penultimate round of the championship. Lights out and away we go. M Short gets a very good start. Scuba might actually get the run on him down and towards turn 1. AJ's already got the 2 Ferraris. Great start by AJ up into P5. Scuba's down the inside of M Short, and that's exactly what he wanted to see. Scuba into the lead of the race. M Short second. Wesker has got ahead of Matt Tibos as well. How important is that for Wesker to get ahead as Alonso and Dan Morris fight further down the field? Very clean start by them all. Red Bull crossing the curb there. I think it was Dylan overrunning the curb slightly, but Scuba leads by 0.3 of a second. M Short in second. The predicted pit stop strategy has to come up coming up the top of the hill, but Matt Tibos is on the back of Wesker, and there's a yellow flag in sector 2, and Matter is round at the top of the hill through turn 8 and 9. Could bring out a VSC possibly, but now down this 1 kilometre straight, the DRS will be enabled, of course, on lap 3 as Dan Morris gets the move done on Alonso further up the field. We see Gary now on the back of Adamaco. We'll cut on board with him as Adamaco now is under pressure from the Irishman. Is the Irishman going to be close enough to have a go? You bet he will. Down the inside goes Gary. Adamaco around the outside keeps the position. Very good racing between them both, and great respect in terms of the racecraft as well. But Scuba, his championship hopes are still alive. He's got the lead as we approach the end of lap 1. M Short second, Wesker third, and already that gap is beginning to pull itself out between Scuba and M Short, and we could have a potential pooper in the party as we now come round the final couple of corners to end lap 1. I don't think anybody picked up any front wing damage at all, but out of the final corner, Scuba leads, Wesker second, M Short in third, and we've got a graphics glitch.
Speaking of wing damage, Matt, I think, did make contact with the wall when he spun at the top of turn 9, and he is going to be into the pits.
Yep, into the pits. Left side end plate damage as well for Mattis. A good spot there. Adamako and Gary, however, are going side by side. Coming through turn 3, they make contact. Oh, and Gary's into the wall. Heavy contact for Gary. The Irishman is out of the race. That could bring out a safety car, possibly. Predicted pit stop strategy is not needed there for Gary, I'm afraid to say. But Scuba does lead. M Short in second, and a VSC has been deployed. So that now brings the drivers down to a 40% rate of throttle input rather than the 100% that they've been given. So now, actually, it brings us neatly on to Scuba's start. He gained the position on M Short down in towards turn 1. He's done exactly what it says on the tin and exactly what he wanted to do in terms of the championship so far.
Yes, and this VSC will give Wesker an opportunity to really get onto the back of M Short, as I'm pretty sure now when the VSC ends on this main straight, if Wesker can get a good run on M Short, you'd be right in that DRS window.
To be honest, Matt Tibos is looking very close to the back of Wesker as he actually nearly goes into the back of him there. These guys have got to stick to a delta time. It's not like the glitch in F1 2019 as we get back underway. And M Short actually is the main gainer. Wesker's timings have glitched, so he's not 0.2 of a second behind on my end. M Short now is in behind on Scuba. We're about to start lap 3 here in America. It is Scuba who leads, M Short in second, but look at Matt Tibos hunting on the back of Wesker. 0.4 of a second as they run up the hill now and towards turn 1. They're not going to be close enough though for a move. And looking further down the field, Dan Morris looking close on the back of Dylan, but he's not going to get the move done either. Very good start though, I've got to say. Apart from Matt making contact with the wall and Gary being out the race, been all clean so far.
Yep, been all clean, and I'm just looking at the biggest winners and losers of the opening laps. We've got Dylan and Alonso both up 3 positions, and J. Cole and Mata, the big losers. J. Cole down 2 spots, Mata down 3, and of course we've lost Gary from this race, and that brings in the side-by-side trickiness of Sector 1 that I was alluding to at the start of this race.
M Short closing in on Scuba, not going to be close enough. Neither is Matt Tibos on the back. Somebody that is though was Jekyll down the inside on Amako, trying to do a Gary from a couple of laps ago. Gary now of course out the race. Amako stays in 6th position. Callboy is through on Harry. Could move there by Callboy further down the field. And in fact, Harry is going around the outside of him coming through turn 13. Saw that in the back of Shot, and he's down the inside and towards turn 15 on the brakes. Beautiful move by Harry. That is how to get a move done. Or is it because Callboy is trying to go all the way around the outside? Impossible move to pull off around the outside of a Verstappen corner, and he has to back off. So Harry through, and he's up into 12th position. Great racing that between them both though.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that part of the track, it does promote a good amount of side-by-side action. And, of course,
down the inside, Dan Morris has gone through on Dylan, who was spun, I think, out of turn 1. Oh, no, have they made contact? Oh, and Callboy has made contact with Harry. Harry, out of turn 1, I think, got very leery on the curb. And Callboy has picked up right side end plate damage as a result of that, as a result of Harry spinning. And Dan Morris and Dylan, they were completely off my camera shot. I don't know what happened to them. I think they've made contact as well, possibly. Dylan might have done the same thing as Harry did to, correct me if I'm wrong here, Callboy. Trying to think of his name.
Here is the issue now. Both for the Mercedes and both for the Red Bulls all have front wing damage.
Wow. So that is massive, I think, for those chances. Oh, as we demo nearly into the back of Jekyll. Jekyll through on Adamako. Feel sorry for Tom, by the way, as a result of all of this. I'm trying to keep up with all the camera work as Harry is down the inside of Dan Morris. They make slight contact, but Harry, with that left side end plate damage, has got the move done. And I don't think Dan has actually got front wing damage. He hasn't. Both of those end plates... Yeah, both those end plates are actually still intact. As he goes round the outside of turn 15, this will be brilliant from Dan Morris, and it is. Dan Morris is through on his teammate. It's like Rosberg and Hamilton 2014 Bahrain, the duel in the desert. Not so much a desert here in Austin, but Dan is through on Harry, and he's through and he's up into 10th position. And predictably, Harry with that front wing damage coming into the pit lane along with Callboy, and Dylan, I think, is going to have to troop into the pit lane as well. Such a shame for those guys, but it brings Mata possibly into contention as well.
Yeah, I think Mata and Dylan, unless an SC... Oh, it's
Dylan's retired. Why would you retire in the pit lane when there's points available? Wesker picks up a 3-second time penalty, so that could be quite costly towards the end of the race. Scuba still leads, M Short in second, Wesker third, Matt Tibos in fourth. M Short 6.5 tenths off as he comes now through that DRS range. And he will open up the tap, using up the overtake mode to try and get close. And do you know what? I think he might have a go here. Down in towards turn 12. No, he backs off. He was going to go and try and juke me into that move, but he hasn't. But Zwiedema, however, is on the back of Adamako. Not close enough, though, to get the move for 7th and 8th position. But lap 5 is about to end. Lap 6 are about to begin. Scuba does lead from M Short in second, Wesker in third. And it's a role reversal, really, of the front two from the start, because M Short qualified on pole. Scuba got the start that he wanted, now leads the race. And in terms of the championship, Scuba is doing everything in his power to take this to the final race of the season.
Yeah, Scuba really needs Wesker and Matt Tibos now to put themselves in between Scuba and M Short, and I think Scuba's doing absolutely everything he can to try and break that DRS to M Short.
Yeah, and he is, but I mean, they're running a bit of a DRS trend, to be honest, at this point, because Scuba is 7 tenths clear. The gap is staying around that point. Be flying ball with Matt Tibos through the S section on a beautiful helicopter cam. Scuba leading M Short second, Wesker in third. But Matt Tibos, I think, is more the advantage, I think, of these guys. If these guys begin to battle ahead, Matt Tibos looks to me as if he's the one that's going to pick up all the pieces, surely. Especially if Scuba and M Short battle, and he gets Wesker down the straight now.
We'll have to wait and see if he can get the run. Wesker, of course, having the advantage of DRS as well. It's not going to be very easy to close up, as Gary has left the session. Zudema looking at the back of Adamako, but the DRS change is not allowing him to get close enough. But someone who could be close enough to make a move could be Mata on Cowboy for 12th place.
Yeah, Mata on a fresh set of medium compound tyres. Interestingly, Cowboy on 1 lap old hards. Don't judge that graphic by the curve, because obviously these guys have been on an out lap, so that is counted as 1 lap for these guys. Cowboy is under pressure. Mediums will begin to come into play. The hard certainly will begin to come into play, I should say, further in the race. But Mata in the short term should be easily eyeing up Harry and Cowboy for a possible 11th place. But he will have to pit again. Lap 7 out of 28. We're a quarter of the way through here in America. James Head and Mike Edwards taking you through the action. It is Scuba who does lead. From Short in second, Wesker third, and Matt Tibos in fourth. AJ in fifth, with J. Cole in sixth. J. Cole getting closer actually to AJ, really beginning to try and excel. Like how I've done the pun there, and like how I've done that. J. Cole in 6th position, Adamako in 7th, with Zwiedema in 8th, also for the XL team. Alonso in 9th, Demos in 10th, Harry, Cowboy and Mata filling out 11th, 12th and 13th. M-Shot looking slightly closer to the back now of Scuba. 6.5 tenths again is not going to be enough unless he uses all of his overtake mode up, which I think he's not. And to be honest, I'm liking how M Short is approaching this race, to be honest. He's just sitting in there, in behind Scuba, not forcing him into any early mistakes. But, if I've got to be honest, and if I was in M Short shoes, I would be putting Scuba under a lot of pressure right now to really try and fend off the attentions and to try and fight. As Cowboy, I think, is nearly through on Harry as they fly through the S section here through 7 and 8. But yeah, quite an interesting perspective, I think.
Yeah, obviously the benefits of M Short putting Scuba under pressure and making them battle is the fact that it does allow Wesker and Matt Tibos to maybe sniff an opportunity to make a move as we got AJ into the pits.
AJ into the pits and Cowboy makes a scything move. Easy as you like, passing Harry. He is through and he's up into 11th position. Matten not managing to get past Harry in all of that. But AJ, interestingly, the first one to come in from a set of softs to a set of hard compound tyres. Now, 20 laps on a set of hards. We saw this in Division 1. it can last as long as those tyres are maintained early on in the stint. So AJ has got to be quite cautious, I think, on these hards, but he's got to keep up the pace as well. As Scuba does lead M Short second, Wesker in third. I have a feeling my co-commentator's controller has just gone off there. Wesker now, M Short now on the back of Scuba, very close to the back here, dives it down the inside into turn 12. This is important for the championship. M Short and Scuba now, this is the battle we wanted to see. Scuba now down the inside, M Short around the outside. The camera angles are shocking, but M Short now fighting on the inside line in towards turn 15. Brilliant move by the championship leader, Scuba.
Yeah, my controller did unfortunately just disconnect there. I just had to get the charger, but was on board for that, and that's fantastic battling between the two championship protagonists. And I'm guessing Wesker and Matt Tibos were just sniffing a little bit of an opportunity there.
Yeah, Wesker got very close actually into the braking zone, was so much more committed than Scuba. He nearly went into the back bin, but now it's beginning to split up these two guys out on track. And I think the importance of that move for M Short will be seen later on in the race. Because now M Short is in the lead, Scuba has now got to put the pressure back on M Short, try and put him under a lot of pressure, trying to force him in for a bit of a mistake. But keeping in mind how we've seen M Short race this season, he's been cool, calm, collected, and a possible champion-elect. But Scuba now is going to try with all of his might to close back in, not using up any overtake mode as we ride on board. And now Matt Tibos is on the back of Wesker as well for third and fourth, but they stay all in position, which could have ended up into being from two moves into absolutely zilch. But M Short does lead the way now. If you are just tuning in to the race, where have you been? You've just missed M Short past Scuba for the lead of the race and possibly for the championship as well. Matter is on the back of Harry, really fending off the attentions here. Harry, the hard compounded tyres against the mediums. And now Matter on the back. Now try and get the move done. Doesn't get the greatest run coming out of turn 11. The top four continue on. J. Cole, I think, continues on as well, but Zwiedema is into the pit lane. Harry now under pressure from Matter. This is for 11th position out on track. We pull out to the wider out camera shot. Matter down the inside line. I think Harry will just invite him through, possibly. But no, he's not going to give this up without a fight, the Greek man. And now Matter ran the outside line. Surely on these set of mediums, he'll begin to pull off the move. Down and through to 15. Not giving him any room at all. Harry is still fighting this, and Matter and Harry are having a right set to. Now into the triple right-hander. Harry's going to have the inside line here, possibly, but now Matter is through. Harry picks up a 3-second time penalty, and what could have been a potentially good battle, hanging off camber of the corner once again, Matter just had that line, the natural racing line, to pull away from Harry, and he's through, and he's up to 11th.
Yep, and right now, I'm interested in seeing the gap between Alonso and J. Cole. As Alonso started on those medium compound tyres, hasn't been caught up in any incidents. He's been pretty clean so far, and I'm expecting that time between him and J. Cole to start closing very soon.
Yeah, 4.7 seconds, staying quite stagnant, I think, out on track so far. But Alonso will begin to close in, I think. You can just see the first signs of him beginning to close in. 4.5 seconds now, the gap. Are the top four, though, going to come in? Lap 10 out of 28. We should begin to see the first pit stops now. And M Short is in. And in fact, the front four are in as well. M Short decided to do that very late on indeed. Hopefully nobody speeds into the pit lane. They haven't. Jake Hall in behind as well. And now that will put Alonso into the lead of the race. But these pit stops are so important. They need to get it right. Scuba not being held up in the pit lane. He's on a set of medium compound of tyres. Wesker has not been held up either. Neither is M Short and neither has Matt Tibos. So they all go on their merry way once again out of the pit lane. There is Dan Morris on a set of softs, and this is traffic. This is problems possibly for M Short, as we see. M Short and Dan Morris nearly come out side by side. M Short is just ahead of Dan Morris. And that is important now, because Dan Morris now holds the throne for M Short ascension to the championship win, possibly with Scuba now and behind. How important is this for Scuba to now get past Dan Morris, who is essentially traffic now out on track?
It is critical for Scuba to get past on this straight. He needs to do it ASAP.
Oh!
Dan Morris gets a little bit when he would there on the exit.
Job done.
I think that's going to allow him.
Job done. Scuba is already through, and what I said a couple of seconds ago has just been totally dumbfounded once again. Matt Tibos and J. Cole going side by side, 2 by 2 like Noah's Ark they go. Matt Tibos is through on AJ. AJ, of course, not managing to get the undercut on these guys. And J. Cole also through on a set of mediums. He is through and he's on Adamako for 8th position. So 2 moves there done by both Matt Tibos and J. Cole. Alonso leads, M Short in second. And if you were in Alonso's position, he's 7.7 seconds ahead of M Short. Wesker right on the back of Dan Morris. I'll just cut into this in just a second. In fact, Dan Morris relinquishes into the pit lane and relinquishes 4th position. But if you were in Alonso's shoes right now, 7.5 seconds the gap to his teammate. Is Alonso going to be more of a hindrance later on in the race if he continues on to go possibly onto a set of softs? Or is he going to provide to be that shining light for M Short and be a respectful teammate and let him through?
I think this is going to be the issue now. It depends on what strategy Alonso's going for you. If he decides to pit and chuck on a set of the hards, he would be pitting before M Short can catch up to him. But if Alonso wants to stretch out those tyres, allow M Short to catch up, overtake him.
Oh, J. Cole down the inside on AJ, sorry to cut in. J. Cole down the inside on AJ, gets the move done. Harry is around through turn 1 as well. I think he's got caught on the curb. Don't think there was any contact involved in that, but now AJ trying to come back, fight with all his might down the straight, but that Ferrari is pulling away. It's not often you get to see that in commentary at all, a Ferrari pulling away out on track. And Zuidema, yeah, you're right, Zuidema gets the move done on Adamako as well, and he's through and he's up to 8th position. Some really nice overtakes getting done, but it appears to me the cloud cover might be beginning to build.
Yep, good spot there as we're seeing M Short. He is really eating into that gap with him and his teammate up ahead, and Scuba managing to get back onto the back of M Short, picking up the fastest lap along the way.
Yeah, just having a look on board with that ERS actually, the energy recovery system of course in Formula 1 is important. And Scuba's got 40% of ERS coming out of turn 1. M Short has only got 46%, so he's got 6% more, but Scuba is closing in with slightly less ERS. I think Scuba is quicker than M Short, if I've got to be honest.
Well, that is going to be good for my predictions.
It's going to be great for your predictions. Might be the first prediction we'll ever get right. Or you'll ever get right.
I don't know, didn't I get a prediction right in Italy?
I think you did. I think you did get a prediction right in Italy. I might be totally wrong in that, but are we going to see Scuba close up as Harry has retired? That is in the pit lane he was retired, so we don't see a VSC or a safety car coming out, I don't think, for that. Scuba closing up, not close enough though to the back of M Short. But Short is closing in that gap to Alonso. I'm sure we've got the Short fan club in the comments section. I'm pretty sure they're watching on board and watching their baby boy do them proud out on track, and he could be a potential champion. But there is that party pooper still at play, and that is Scuba, of course, who is trying to defeat M Short out on track. And I've got to be honest, I think I can see what's coming, to be honest, as Callboy has got the move done on Mata running down the straight on the mini-map. I think we're going to see an insane battle between these two if they're still so consistent late on in the race.
Yeah, but I think it's clear now, M Short and Alonso, they're going to have to play some Alfa Romeo team tactics here. Just give M Short a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, I mean, 4.2 seconds. Alonso is keeping that gap up just about so far in this race, as my YouTube has stopped working, it seems, which is absolutely fantastic. Scuba, though, trying to get onto the back of M Short. And Again, 38% of ERS compared to M Short 53, so actually M Short is saving more compared to Scuba, but Scuba gets a good run out of turn 12. Now opens up the flap on the DRS, on the back of the car, runs down the straight, and now Scuba is closing in, but it's not going to be close enough running down the straight. M Short remains in P2.
As Matt still keeps behind Wesker for the time being. Adam Mako and Zudema were side by side momentarily there. Zudema holding the inside line now, keeping that position, but tasty little battle we got going on here. Two different tyre compound choices as they both seem to be closing in on AJ slightly.
Yeah, they are closing on an AJ. AJ obviously on a set of hard compound of tyres. Adam Mako was keeping with Zudema really impressively, I think, out on track. Now, that is why as well, I've just seen his ERS. He's used hardly any of his ERS. So surely Zwiedema, as I say that, he's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Matt Tibos down the inside on Wesker for fourth. He's gone too deep. He's gone way too deep, and that allows Wesker to come back through, and Wesker through and up to P4. Matt Tibos now might have blown his one and only chance to try and get past Wesker, and Matt Tibos obviously not in the title contention, but for pride certainly that's going to do his mentality certainly a little bit of a dent out on track, I think.
Yeah, Matt Tibos just needs to reset, get focus once again and try again.
Oh, I tell you what. Oh, I thought Scuba was going to be a lot closer than what it was. It's now 0.7 of a second. Just looking at the comment section as well. Yes, the Short family are in attendance in the comment section. I can see them there. And they also say that Morgan, who was the commentator for League of Europe GT Sport, he is also commentating on Racing League Hub at this stage as well. So it could be an all-family affair, I think. As Adamako is down the inside into turn 12, gets the move done on Zwiedema. Zwiedema, though, is going to try and come back coming through turn 13. The McLaren and the Williams fighting side by side. We're halfway through. Oh, and Adamako spun! Adamako was spun. He got too tail-happy on the curb there. And Adamako now spun. Zwiedema handed a free position. And Adamako's chances of potentially getting Zwiedema have now gone completely out the window.
Yeah, that was very unusual for Adam Markle. I'm not even sure if it was the curbs. I think it was just a little bit too greedy.
Oh, Matimos! Again down the inside of Wesky. Tries it second time around. He's not closer this time. He hasn't made a mistake this time either. They're side by side coming through turn 2. Wesker gives him the room, gives him the door, and says, "You're not coming through." Wesker is still in 4th position, but at what cost? Because he's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Tell you what, I thought M. Short and Scuba was going to be a good battle. Wesker and Matt Tibos are giving everything out on track.
Yeah, but Matt Tibos closing in on Wesker as they come down into turn 11. Good exit here from Matt Tibos. Good, give him an opportunity.
I'll tell you what, Scuba is going to get past M. Short. He just sails on by. Scuba easily, as you like, is through on M. Short and retakes him for the net lead of the race. How important is that? Matt Tibos is now down the inside of Wesker. They change their lines. Matt Tibos runs wide. Wesker has the advantage once again in that racing point. And remember, the Constructors' battle is still up for grabs as well. Racing Point, McLaren and Alfa Romeo all involved. But now, Scuba is in the lead of this race. M. Short, I think, should have used up that ERS, try to defend the position more. And Alonso in front is going to cause Scuba a whole lot of problems, but it could possibly work to M. Short's advantage as well if Alonso backs up Scuba into M. Short. And then we'll see a whole host of battle coming through, and we might even see Wesker and Matt Tibos catch up as well. Lap 17 out of 28. Alonso leads Scuba in second, M. Short in third. I'm not sure about you, Mike, but I think this has been the most exciting race so far this season.
It's definitely been the most exciting race I've seen since joining you in the comms booth, that's for sure. Battles up and down the grid, and J. Cole is now onto the back of Matt Tibos and Wesker, so now J. Cole is joining the party.
Flying as well on that set of medium compound of tyres. He's now just dropping out that DRS zone slightly, but he's only a second off the back of Matt Tibos. So I'll see Matter into the pit lane to put up his second stop, and now Scuba has got Alonso pretty much in his fingertips as he now runs down the straight. We should see Scuba just pull to the right-hand side and sail on by. There he goes, passing Alonso. Alonso will try and fight this with all of his might, but Scuba is through, and that is not what the doctor ordered. But Alonso gets very tail happy coming out of turn 12, and M Short is through, and he's up into second position. Game on once again.
Yeah, I think that was quite deliberate there from Alonso, just to get it straight out of the way of his teammate.
Yeah, I think, honestly, he got a little bit tail happy, I thought he made a genuine mistake, so it'll be interesting to watch that back, of course, in terms of the action out on track. But Scuba has nearly broken the DRS train to M Short, but now M Short comes back into that buffer. He's now only going to be 7/10 off as he comes into turn 1. Alonso then into the pit lane. Is he going to go set a soft compound of tyres? He is. I see a red wall compound of tyre there in the pit lane. So Alonso into the pits. And he's going to come out in behind Adamaco, I feel, coming out the pit lane. Adamaco coming past commentary position now. And there is Alonso rejoining out in 9th position. So he rejoins and now has got the world at his oyster to try and come through the field. But M Short is hounding the back of Scuba. 0.3 of a second. They're both in and around the same ERS percentage out on track. This is going to be fascinating to watch.
Yeah, but M Short with a fantastic run out of 11 there. DRS wide open. Not needing the overtake button, and just, as you said, sails on by.
Yeah, M Short making that one look pretty easy. Scuba not really putting up a fight. But what these guys have got to really imagine in their minds, certainly with 10 more laps to go, if they keep changing on positions like this, they'll try and build a gap between Wesker and Matt Tibos. The gap is 4 seconds currently. Alonso is through an Adamaco, by the way, down into turn 12. See that on the mini-map, he's got the job done there. So that now means, I think, for M Short and Scuba has got to try and get past into turn 12 at every opportunity to try and outdo M Short, because the only real chance is going up the straight here, up towards turn 1.
There's a very few opportunistic overtaking spots as well. Into 11, for example, at the hairpin just before the DRS straight. I can't see Scuba trying to move there, but you never know. He might think outside the box, as it looks like M Short now starting to stretch his legs a little bit.
Look at J Cole as well. J Cole has came into contention for a possible top 3 finish. Wesker and Matt Tibos, I think, have got penalties just in front. We'll try and check on that in around 5-6 laps time. But J Cole is just liking this out on track. He's liking Wesker and Matt Tibos battling. J Cole coming into contention. He's been the dark horse in this race, I've got to argue.
J Cole really excelling here.
We're going to make a habit out of those puns, I think. It could have been worse. It could have been Excelling, which was Videma's former name. So, yeah, that could have easily happened. But M Short leads. Oh, as soon as I say that, actually, J Cole, slight mistake coming out of turn 14. I was through the right-hander. But now drops off the back. Nearly a second now, the gap to Matt Tibos. But M Short leads the way, and I'm sure the Short Family Fan Club in the comment section are getting on the edge of their seats. If they're not already at the edge of their seats, I think over the next 7 laps or so they soon will be.
Speaking of possible things to keep our eyes on as well, coming into the latter stage of this race, Alonso, who's just set the fastest lap, is going to be able to close in on Zudema and AJ, and if he can get ahead of both of them, that's big for Alfa Romeo and the constructors.
It's massive for Alfa Romeo and the constructors. I think Alfa Romeo coming into this are in second in the constructor standings. I'll just confirm this on my graphics. And I do believe they are. Yeah, Alfa Romeo are 11 points behind McLaren. McLaren, interestingly, if Alonso gets ahead of Zuidema, Short is ahead of Scuba, Alfa Romeo, if I'm not mistaken, will take a big points haul on the back of the McLaren team coming into the final round of the championship. I don't think the constructors can be won unless something unless a miracle like safety car happens or something like that. Scuba on the back of M Short. He is fighting for his life. You see the throttle input in the bottom right hand corner. Full throttle input now coming through 16, 17 and 18. The tyres can manage it for now, but not for long. I think you'll begin to see a little bit of flattening out coming through into turn 16 there. But M Short leads. We've got 8 more laps to go here underneath the boiling hot sun of Austin in Texas for the penultimate round here in Division 2. It is M Short who does lead the way. Scuba second, Wesker third, Matt Tibos in fourth, Jake Hall in fifth. How important is that going to be, however, because Alonso has just picked up a 3-second time penalty in his pursuit for Zuidema.
Yep, and he's taken 2 seconds out of Zuidema over that particular lap, and with Zuidema right on the back of AJ, this is going to be incredibly tasty. 3 different tyre compounds, 3 different cars, all within this Constructors' Championship battle.
It's going to be really interesting, I think, what we can gather. I think that we can find no more words than that, to be honest, out on track. But M Short does lead. Scuba in second. Matt Tibos is looking quite close now to the back of Wesker, running down the straight. However, time is running out for him to get, and in fact he's not using up the overtake mode, which means he's going to fall into line. Dan has a bit of a half look, but stays in P4 for now. Jake Hall there, just in the back of him. We ride on board with the back shot of the Renault. Matt Tibos in fourth, Jake Hall in fifth. Zuidema trying to get close to the back. Alonso, only over this last lap or so, has only gained 0.4 of a second. And that is quite shocking. He should be gaining, I think, at least 1.5 seconds a lap.
See how much he'll gain in the final sector. It seems to be where he's taking the most time out of him. As it's starting to fly down now. A second gained on this lap alone.
Yeah, comes through the final couple of corners. I mean, he's just taken 2/10 coming through turn 19. Matt Tibos though on Wesker, side by side, third time lucky. If I can get the camera right, Matt Tibos is through on Wesker. Wesker falls into line and Matt Tibos is through and he's up into third position. Sadly, it rolled on board with Zuidema, I think, in all of that. And Wesker is trying to come back desperately, and Matt Tibos brings J. Cole into play as well. But M Short still leads Scuba second, but the battle really beginning to unfold for third. And this is where, possibly, Racing Point could have the answers in terms of the Constructors' fight, because it seems in terms of consistency, they're going to be second, I think, in the Constructors' battle in terms of points scored here tonight, because of their positions out on track. As we ride on board with Wesker, on the back of Matt Tibos, he's coming back at him, down the straight. And the Austrian man not close enough. Cowboy sets a new fastest lap of the race. Remember, the fastest lap point is available for anyone, anywhere, out on track and in any position. So remember that. If Scuba gets the fastest lap point, it will bring him just within title contention coming into the race. But if I'm under the impression now, and what we got told in terms of the championship permutations early on, I think, if I'm right in saying, M Short will be champion as it stands. Currently, as Scuba gets very, very leery at the final corner.
Yeah, just on board with Scuba there. He's done the past 2 laps, I believe, so maybe starting to struggle with a bit of tyre temp, so just getting a little bit too greedy on the throttle perhaps, but seems to be struggling in that final corner. It's just costing him any opportunity to really put M Short under pressure here.
Yeah, M Short is beginning really now to bring what we've seen so far this season, the dominance and the consistency now beginning to come into play as we approach the final 6 laps of this race. Scuba, Alonso, by the way, as Alonso, is on the back as Zuidema. Just for championship permutations, Scuba, if he doesn't score 6 points, M Short will be champion. So as it stands, M Short out on track will be champion, and Wesker has to score 25 points or more, and he might do this. He might gain a couple of extra points as he closes in on the back of Matt Tibos, but no, not quite. Onto the back, and he will remain in position. Alonso on the back as Zuidema running a bit of a DRS train. He's not close enough. Might be close enough on the brakes though. Carries a bit of overspeed, but they remain as they are. But 5 laps to go after this one. And it could not be any closer in terms of the action out on track and in terms of the championship. Alonso, surely not going to go around the outside through 16, 17 and 18. He's lining up a move, but not close enough as he comes through in the Alfa Romeo. Short, leading the way. Scuba up the hill. Trying to get a little bit closer, but not quite good enough. And Alonso is going to pick up Zuidema. Zuidema uses up the overtake mode. Now Alonso uses up the overtake mode. Is he going to be close enough? Down the inside now. Coming up toward the hill, in towards turn 1. You bet he is. Oh, and he used them as a braking point and they make contact. Alonso trying to dive it down the inside. He could have been a little bit fairer than that, I think, to be honest. Zuidema has lost now DRS range on AJ. That very costly to both Zuidema and Alonso. I've got to be honest, Alonso shouldn't have tried that.
I had a very poor camera angle for that one, so I didn't exactly see what happened, but yeah, massive mistake there from Alonso, and I mean, we'll have to see what the stewards will be making of that after this race. If it is reported, but Scuba is now very close to M Short. They come from the third sector, so it's starting to heat back up.
It is really heating up. I've just seen the ERS and they're locked together in terms of the ERS deployment. So this is now really beginning to get quite tasty and quite spicy out on track. If you like your curries hot, and if you're having a curry right now, put it down because this is going to be even hotter, I think, out on track. Scuba on the back of M Short. 4 laps to go. Championship permutations go all around this battle, and M Short does lead up the hill in towards turn 1. He takes the wide about line coming through turn 1 and gains the time, and Scuba tries to get it on the exit and just about closes in. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, and it's Dan Morris that's round. Dan Morris is round. That's coming out of turn 15, so I wonder if he's got caught on the outside curb coming through there. Oh, and a safety car! There's a safety car out on track, and if it couldn't get any more thrilling than this, it just has.
I was just about to say, no hope of a safety car. It's too late in the race, but we got a safety car.
It is like if you, I think it was Division 5 in Italy, where we, not in Italy, it was Division 5, one of the races earlier on in the season, where we had a safety car come out in 4 laps from the end of this race, and this is exactly what has happened here. So Dan Morris has caused the safety car. We can only assume he's caused the safety car. And now, what do the drivers do? I've got to be honest, I expect most of these guys come in for set of softs.
I think they stay out.
Ooh.
If they come into the pits, they're going to drop down at least 5 positions. Okay, they'll be faster and fresher set of softs, but
yeah,
that's a lot of track position to give up.
It'll be a sprint finish to the end. There'll only be 2 laps to go. They may as well, because I think the guys in behind will come into the pits as well. Matt Tebos, Wesker, J. Cole. Likes of Alonso, by the way. Alonso might be out in the lead of the race. M Short is going to come into... Oh, no, he's not. Oh, that was close. He nearly juked me into the pit lane, but he doesn't. Scuba is not. Matt Tebos isn't. Wesker isn't. J. Cole isn't. So, a split in the commentary box, and my co-commentator is right as per usual.
I was just on board with Scuba. It looked like they were both trying to tempt each other into the pit lane there. I'm Short looking for a very late entry. It did look like Scuba was going to try and take the correct line.
Zuidema has picked up a 20-second time penalty for speeding under the safety car. I've seen a 10-second penalty be given, but 20 seconds? Come on, somebody's got to be having a joke.
I have never seen that before.
A 20-second time penalty. That is an absolute disgrace. I've got to say that on stream. That is an absolute disgrace. And I hope Codemasters are happy with themselves. Anyways, shall we run through the penalties while we've got a chance?
Well, we know Zuidema's got a 20-second one.
That's very true, but we'll run through the top. We'll run through all 12 drivers actually out on track. And I will run through that now. I thought Mike was going to do it, but I'll do it anyways. M Short.
Oh no! Oh, sorry, my bad. I'll do it for you.
M Short has got 2 warnings out on track. Scuba has got 1 warning, so they're still same. I think the safety car is going to come in this lap, I believe. Penalty for Matt Tibos. Wesker has got 2 penalties. Jekyll has got a warning. AJ has got a penalty. Zwiedema has got a 20-second penalty, which is so ridiculous, even though he's got 2 warnings. Alonso has got a penalty and an invalid lap. Adamaka has got a penalty. I think we're going to get back underway shortly. Mata with 2 penalties. Callboy with a penalty, and Dan Morris with a penalty as well. That was a very quick rundown, but now under the safety car, with safety car coming in this lap, and M Short backing up the pack. He might have overdone this slightly, I think. The safety car is only coming in now through the final corner. Now he goes. M Short just lengthens out that stride now, coming through the final corner. 2 laps to go in one of the craziest races in Division 2 history so far in TTML. M Short gets us back underway. And remember, there's no DRS as a result. J. Cole on the back of Wesker, running up the hill in towards turn 1. He's not going to be close enough, though, for the move. Watch out for Alonso coming through the field as well. He's on a set of soft compound of tyres. They're beginning to wear, but he will be quicker than the guys in front. M Short leads, nearly with 1.5 laps left to go.
Yeah, but for M Short now, we just saw that he's 1 warning away from a 3-second time pen, and he has to really make sure he does not run over any of these track limits here. But he has got a bit of a gap now to Scuba, so he has pulled that advantage, really.
He's pulled the advantage, all right, and he's pulled the advantage to 9/10 of a second running down the straight. And if you're in the Family Short fan club, get celebrating, I think, because I think that might be the gap that's just won him the race. Scuba is in second, Matt Tibos third, Wesker fourth, J. Cole in fifth. Nobody close enough down for a move. Remember, no DRS to the flag because there's only 2 more laps to go within the race. So M Short leads, Scuba in second, and now this is the time and the place. If Scuba wants this, if Scuba wants to take the championship fight to Brazil, he's got to do it right here, right now.
Yep, and I think, forget about not using your ERS, you need to use your ERS now.
M Short 73% through the final corner, Scuba 68%. So now on to the final lap of the race. Could it be this close for the championship? I didn't think it would be this close. Alonso was on the back as we Zwiedema further down the field. Not going to go for the move though on the McLaren. Wesker has just dropped out of the DRS range on Matt Tibos as well. But M Short leads. Scuba second. He's got a lid on the line. And M Short's got a 3-second time penalty. And he runs wide coming through turn 6 as well. Advantage Scuba. This is important for the championship. This is dramatic stuff here in America. We've only got around half a lap to go, just over half a lap to go, and M Short now could be at a big threat from Scuba of actually getting this race win, because forget about the penalties, he might get them out on track as M Short is struggling with that tyre wear. Scuba's advantage now is to close in on M Short, but has M Short used up enough overtake mode? He's got enough left to try and fend off the attentions of Scuba running down the straight. That is a shocking camera angle running down the straight, but Scuba has to skill giving way in second. He will realise, I think, that M Short has got a 3-second time penalty, but watch out for Matt Tibos. Matt Tibos might have a penalty, but he's coming into contention and trying to fight with Scuba as well. Quarter of a lap to go.
This is crucial because J. Cole, as we just went through, does not have a penalty. He's going to jump M Short here.
He is going to jump M Short and Matt Tibos and Wesker, so J. Cole will be on the podium for sure, I think. M Short ran the final corner. The championship fight might go to the final race of the season if Scuba does not pick up a 3-second time penalty. M Short ran the final corner, wins in America, but Scuba has taken the win, and J. Cole predictably goes up into second, and in the end, M Short crossed the line in first, has finished in third position. Dan Morris around the outside of Mata around the final corner. He's just about going to get him to the line. Mata hangs on, and goodness me, answers on a postcard for the finish there. Dan Morris has finished 11th. M Short crossing the line in first. A brilliant race. Driver of the day is AFC Alonso, as voted by the in-game fans. Oh my God, we go to the final race of the season. Scuba has still got a chance, a very faint one, of getting the title, but he takes the win out on track, and a fantastic win from him. J. Cole in second, and M. Short in third.
I have no words for that race. That was absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
Up and down the field.
The amount of racecraft we saw, the amount of one-to-one driving we saw in that race was brilliant by everyone out on track. Mike, if you wouldn't mind, get the interviews ready for the top three. Scuba, Jekyll and M. Short will be invited into the party for their interviews. But Scuba has taken the win on no penalties by 1.7 seconds from Jekyll in second. M. Short, how I was wanting him to try and win, but it goes to the final race of the season. It is like Massa and Hamilton 2008 all over again. Matt Tibos in fourth, with AJ in fifth, Wesker in sixth, Alonso in seventh, Adamako in eighth. Callboy, fastest lap point goes to him. He gets ninth as well, with Mata in 10th, Dan Morris in 11th, and Zuidema in the end with a 20-second time penalty, which is completely and utterly ludicrous, finishes in 12th position. My goodness me, we have the championship going to the final round of the season, and we should be on our way now to getting the top three in for their podium interviews. And of course, if they don't join for the podium interviews, we'll try and conduct them, of course, through Discord as well. But Mike, I'm sweating, you're probably sweating. What a race.
That was incredible.
Oh my god. I think we all need to lie down after that. We'll wait for the drivers to join. Just tell me when you've invited them, by the way.
I've just sending the last invite out now to Short.
Fantastic. Let me run you through then what we've got to come further on this week. For Friday, we have got Division 4 and Division 5 of TTML. They're going to be streamed, of course, live on the channel. Division 4 is Graham Chappell and TTG Callboy taking you through that one. And if you want the GOAT commentary team, it is myself and Daka commentating you through Division 5 of TTML tomorrow night. From America, we have got 3 more rounds to go in Division 5 rather than just the 2. But I will remind you as well, with the merchandise, the TTML merchandise, go to stickemup.store/TTG Esports, and you can have a look at all the fancy merchandise that we have got there on. And it might not be as good as the League of Europe's one, but certainly we've got our good own thingy. I have to say that because Jekyll just joined the party. But we'll come on to the podium interviews, and we will just await our race winner if he is going to join. And hopefully he will. But in the meantime, we will go to the man that finished in second place, Jekyll. Brilliant race. You didn't pick up any penalties. How was it?
Just kept it clean as much as I could. I know that Wesker and Matt had penalties to begin with, so just thought if I just stick behind them and just stay with them, I know I can just pick up third place. And then when the safety car came out and Mr. M. Short picked up that penalty on the last lap, I knew all I had to do was just try to keep up with him as well, and it paid off, so I'll take it.
It did pay off indeed. It was a fantastic point, but talk us through that safety car period. What were your thoughts going through when that safety car came out with just 3.5 laps to go?
At first I was a bit annoyed about it because I thought someone behind might try and get me on the restart or something, but managed to hold on at least. I knew that AJ was on a harder compound, and it was, I think, more worn as well, so all I had to do was just get away from him. It paid off, and yeah, I managed to somehow ended up getting second.
Somehow, on penalties, ended up getting second. Mike, any questions for J. Cole?
It was just a fantastic race. Shame for your teammate, unfortunately, DNFing early on. Could have been some great points for Ferrari and the constructors, but yeah, fantastic race. Brilliant drive.
Thank you. I would like to just say one thing really quickly. Gary, I'm now the #1 driver, so you can't put that on me anymore.
Well, you never know. Gary might come back next week and defeat you completely. You never know.
He probably will.
But we go to Brazil next week, final round of the season. You're not obviously in championship contention other than M Short, obviously, who still leads the championship coming into next week. What are your thoughts, though, going into Brazil? Surely it's going to be a good race.
I'm hoping so. I mean, I'm aiming for that now 4th spot in the championship. I think is like a massive battle from 4th down to 10th, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yep.
with Gary DNFing, I believe I go ahead of him, and it's going to be really close. I mean, what I'll say is, I think I'm in a battle with Matt, AJ, and Gary. So, like I say, it's just good luck to them, and hopefully we can have a great final race.
We will have a great final race, I can guarantee you of that. J. Cole, go and enjoy your night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, and now we move on to the man who I have to sadly announce is not your champion here tonight. Maze has confirmed this in the chat. M Short, you have a 31-point lead with 33 points available going into next week. First of all, talk us through how that race went.
Well, it was quite comfortable up until the very last lap, really. Me and Scuba were just swapping places and sort of using each other's ERS and DRS to get away from the cars behind. And then, literally like a corner before the safety car came out, I got my second warning. And then on the very last lap, I just wasn't really concentrating and just basically drove off the track and got a third warning. But yeah, it was a good race. It was a good little battle with Scuba. Probably swapped places 5 or 6 times, and yeah, basically probably only need like 2 or 3 points in Brazil next week, don't I? Yeah,
you do. 2 points is the gap, and obviously going into Brazil next week, we'll come on to that in a second. But talk us through that safety car period, because you were the leader going into that period. You must have been the most annoyed person in the world.
Yeah, I was sort of debating pitting, just because I had no penalties at the time, and then I was just like, no, it's not really worth it. I might as well just stick it out and get not risk anything. But then turns out I actually got a penalty in the end. But yeah, I just didn't really want a repeat of Russia, so I was being super careful on the traction.
Yeah, fantastic race. And Mike, any questions?
It was just a fantastic battle all the way through between you and Scuba, and obviously your teammate as well. He was there for a moment. Any little bit of team orders when he let you through?
He basically spun when I came up behind him. I thought I was going to be stuck behind him and Scuba would get away, but coming out of the hairpin, he had a half spin. I just drove straight past.
Yeah, I mentioned in commentary that I thought he half spun coming through out of turn 12, and I'm glad I got that right actually, because I think it's the only thing that I did get right here tonight, to be honest. But going into Brazil, you are possibly the champion-elect going into there. Surely the pressure is off.
Well, you never know. Could have another repeat of Russia, and yeah, I'll just probably be playing it safe next week, but always go for the win anyway.
Playing it safe, I think, will get you the championship for sure. He sounds so much like his brother, doesn't he? But thank you, M Short. I'll let you get on with your night, and I'll let you try and celebrate with the family.
Thank you.
And that is the end here of our interviews. I didn't see our our winner, I should say, join the party, so I think that is in terms of the interviews. But Mike, Jekyll and M Short are here still. Driver of the day from you.
Do you know what? Just because of the gap that J. Cole had to bring back, I'm tempted to say J. Cole. Kept it clean on pens. He did manage to get back in that battle for third. Safety car allowed him to go and attempt to get, well, he did end up getting second, so I'm going to go J. Cole.
And you're not saying that because he's still in the party?
No, there's no peer pressure.
Yeah, to be yeah, to be honest, I've got to give the driver of the day as well to J. Cole. I thought it was a fantastic drive from him. Brilliant out on track, didn't pick up any penalties, clean as you like, had some good battles. Perfect race from my perspective. J. Cole, driver of the day from both of us.
Thank you.
And he's still there. Good. I was just checking that. But that is the end of us tonight. Make sure you tune in, first of all, to Division 4 and 5 tomorrow night. Graham Chappell and Cowboy taking you through Division 4. Myself and Dak are going to be taking you through Division 5 tomorrow night. But if you do want to follow the league on Twitter, it is at TTML_F1. You can also follow the commentary team on Twitter as well. Mine is at B52Head, and Mike, I think yours is at Iverbryn Mike.
Yep, that is correct.
It's correct. I didn't have the ESW in front this time like I did a couple of weeks ago. But that is the end here tonight in America, and Brazil awaits. Who knows what can be expected from Brazil? Are we going to get 2008 Hamilton Massa? We'll just have to wait and find out. But for myself, James Head, and Iverbryn Mike, thank you so much for tuning in here tonight to TTML Division 2, and we'll see you next week for the season finale. Goodbye.